Hello and welcome to Ethical Hacking and Penetration Testing. This is Chapter 8. This is Metasploit Advanced. We've already covered Metasploit Basics, so we've just got Advanced and Practical usage to cover. Now, as I've said before, Metasploit is a pretty big subject. There's a lot of different things in there for you to use. This really is just a snapshot. It's a tool that everybody uses, and by rights it should have its own course. It doesn't have a course, it's just got a very big manual at the minute. So let's move on. So the MSF console is probably the most popular interface to the Metasploit framework. It provides an all-in-one centralized console and allows you to efficient access to virtually all of the options available in the MSF framework. MSF console may seem quite intimidating at first, but once you learn the syntax and the commands, you'll learn to appreciate the power of utilizing a very, very powerful interface. So, it's only supported way to access most of the features within MSF. It does provide a console-based interface to the framework. It does contain most features than the most kind of recent MSF graphical interfaces. It does have a full kind of redline support, tabbing, autocomplete, and command completion, that kind of thing. The execution of external commands in MSF console is also possible. So simply by running something like MSF console, you can see that it launches the console here. It gives you the version, which is the most up-to-date here. It gives you Core 4.8 and API 1.0. It's a massive list of exploits, to be honest. There's like 1,265 exploits, 695 auxiliary and 202 post. There's 330 payloads, 32 encoders, and 8 NOPs as well. It's actually stored under user share metasploit-framework and then MSF console after that. It's quite a good tool to use. Well, as you'll see, this is a little demo of what it does anyway. So, as always, you have the -H to see the options available to you. You can execute the console as defined. You can execute the specified resources file, output to a specific file, load the specific configuration file, specifies an additional module search path, load plugins, which you'll definitely be doing, specify a YAML file containing database settings, etc., etc. So these are the core commands. There's nothing really too out of the ordinary here. You use connect to connect to the host. If you're within the framework, you can use the backup and forward commands to kind of navigate through it. You can look at jobs by doing jobs, and you'll see what exploits or what payloads are currently running. They'll have a little ID number next to them as well, and if you want to kill a job, you can quite easily do that. So as far as tab completion goes, the MSF console is designed to be used rather fast, and one of the features that helps the goal is tab completion. With a wide array of modules available, it can be difficult to remember the exact name of the path of a particular module you wish to make use of. As with most of the shells, entering what you know and pressing tab will present you with a list of options available to you, or autocomplete the string if there's only one option. Any tab completion depends on the Ruby redline extension, and nearly every command in the console supports tab completion. So you can use something like exploit. So you can use Windows exploit smb ms, and what you can do, say an example of an actual exploit would be to do something like use exploit /windows/dce. And then you would say if there was anything in here you wanted to use, say you wanted to use all of them, you would just use, your next command would be use *ms*, which is basically a wildcard. Or if you wanted to, you just have to do *ms*, and it would execute everything in here. Most of these things pertain to different versions of Windows, so it can be a bit of a Hail Mary attack, and you can just send them all, which is quite doable. and then you would have to do set lhost, which would be set the local host, which would be your own IP address. It's not the loopback address, it's your actual network address. So in my case here, it'd be 192.168.1.5, and then you would hit show, and then show would present you with the commands that you've just entered. It would show you that it's kind of halfway complete because you've only used the exploit you want and the set localhost. So now you need to set the target. So if you type set space and then the target, in my case here, it would be this box next to me, 192.168.1.6, and then you'd set a payload, which would be set payload, and then that would be usually something under this directory here anyway. It would be kind of Windows /shell / etc, and then you would hit. And then once you've hit execute, you would be able to do jobs, and then jobs would show you what's currently being exploited on the box. And if you have successfully gained command shell access, it'll tell you that as well. It'll give you kind of shell 1, 2, 3, 4, and then what kind of shell it is as well. Is it via telnet? Is it via SSH? Is it via a web browser or something like that? Either way, it'll let you know. So this is Offensive Security's main trading place. Anyway, it's kind of a Metasploit Unleashed. It does tell you exactly what you need to know without having to trudge through manuals. It's got introductions, requirements, and Metasploit architecture, fundamentals, MSF CLI, console, exploit, payloads, databases, etc. Information gathering, such as port scanning. Let's have a look at port scanning. A lot of people think you have to use something like Nmap before you use Metasploit, but no, you can actually use it straight from here. So you can look at Nmap and database Nmap. You can use Nmap within MSF, which is quite handy. So you just call Nmap when you're in MSF console, and it will kind of do it all for you. And then search port scan, and then you have your own kind of port scan auxiliary exploit here as well, which is all handy. Look at some client-side attacks. Look at some binary payloads. It seems like Metasploit is full of interesting, useful features. One of these is the ability to generate an executable from a Metasploit payload. It can be very useful in situations such as social engineering. If you can get a user to run your payload for you, there's no reason to go through the trouble of exploiting any software, which is very true. It doesn't have to be social engineering. Just wait for somebody to leave the desk, and then as soon as they're left without locking their console, you can easily just go and change something. And then again, in the future, if you have kind of control over their security features, you just bind Control or Delete or Windows L to a different key, and then as soon as they get up and press either of those things to lock the box without realizing it hasn't been done, you'll pretty much just get locked out of. They won't get locked out of their system. It'll be left open, and they'll have just left the desk without really checking, which is quite good. So if you have a look at Metasploit GUIs, there's a few different ones. There's Armitage, and there's a couple of others as well. There is actually a Metasploit one, but it is expensive. It is paid for. It's not in the community edition. I'm not sure of the exact costs, but to be honest, if you want to get down with the kids, as they say, then you should really learn how to use the actual Metasploit console and the command line side of things. So this is binary payloads. Let's have a look at one more thing before we go. Look at maintaining access, key logging. What do you know? It's got some keyloggers such as WARF FTPD, bit of a mouthful. So low and slow can lead to a ton of great information if you have the patience and discipline. One of the tools you can use for low and slow gathering of information is a keystroke logger with interpreter. It's very well designed. It allows you to capture all keyboard input information without writing to anything on the disk, leaving minimal forensic footprint for investigators to follow up on later. Everything's done over the wire. Everything is kind of sent to you in real time, so you'll be able to see who's actually at their computer as well. Anyway, this is the Offensive Security Guide. There are others out there. The Wikipedia page has got all this on as well. I don't think this information is actually theirs. So please have a look, and please get using Metasploit because it's a great tool.